welcome to another educational video about screen printing by Catspit Productions. Today's video is another quick tips video. This one should be pretty quick because I just want to recap and talk a little bit about mesh tension, what it means, what it is, and why it's important. And I know we've talked about this, in other videos, but we're going to do a quick recap to kind of try to bring it all together for you, okay? But before I go on, please remember that Catspit Productions sells screen printing equipment and supplies at catspitscreenprintsupply.com. And when I say Catspit Productions, I mean me, Jonathan. When you buy from Catspit Productions, you're buying from Jonathan personally. I handle and oversee each and every order personally, and if you ever have any questions or concerns, if you ever have any problems at all, when you call Catspit Productions, you're calling Jonathan. You're actually calling me, the guy in the videos, because a lot of the times I get called and people say, hey, is this Jonathan? And I say, yeah, this is Jonathan, and they're surprised. But I don't want you to be surprised, because that's what Catspit Productions is about. We're about personalized customer service. I want to have a relationship with my customer. I want to know you, and I want to help you personally. So remember that when you do business with Catspit Productions, you're doing business with an individual, and all of your patronage helps keep me doing what I'm doing now. So thanks a lot for your time and attention. Thanks for clicking on my video today. I really appreciate that. So I'm going to tell you some stuff about mesh tension today. First of all, somebody recently asked, what's the difference really between roller frames and static, a static metal aluminum frame? What's the difference? The difference is that the roller frames actually have a built-in system of stretching or tensioning the mesh. The screen or the frame of a roller frame is designed in such a way that it can tension the mesh. So you put in a piece of mesh and you actually use the roller frame itself to stretch the mesh. With a static aluminum frame, you have to stretch this on a pneumatic stretcher, okay, and glue it to the frame. So this is what we call a static aluminum frame. A roller frame would be what we call dynamic or retensionable, okay? And another important note about the difference between roller frames and metal aluminum frames is a roller frame is a much stronger frame edge, and it can hold much higher tensions, mesh tensions, without warping the frame. You follow? So what that means is that on a static aluminum frame, we can only get a certain amount of tension before the frame edges will begin to warp and give way, okay? And that also means that the larger your frame is, the more likely the edges will be to warp. So a roller frame will be able to hold higher mesh tensions than a static aluminum frame. And higher mesh tension is what you want because it's going to result in a lot of beneficial characteristics of the printing process. It helps out in different ways. So let's recap a couple of those ways that your mesh tension helps you print better, easier. First of all, when you're printing t-shirts, a mesh tension of 18 to 20 newtons or higher will give you better coverage, better opacity, with a lower volume of ink. If your mesh is loose as the t-shirt you're wearing, you're actually printing more ink than you need to, and you're using and spending more consumables on a job that you could print with a lesser volume of ink. The ink flow characteristics of the ink will be better. In other words, proper mesh tension will allow the ink to flow properly through the mesh openings. Okay, and that results in overall better print resolution and ease of printing, better opacity, better coverage, and also on the print resolution, the tighter the mesh is, the less it moves around when you flood and stroke, so it increases your print resolution. So higher mesh tension is important to an overall better print with ease. Also, on that same note of better print resolution, the tighter mesh is going to also give you a better print surface, a better looking surface to the printed ink. The tighter mesh will produce a nicer, textured, screened, printed surface rather than a looser mesh, okay? And also, one last thing, that that the tight mesh, a good tight screen, a metal screen, and we're not talking about, when I'm talking about tight mesh, I'm talking about on a metal frame, not a wood frame that's going to wiggle or anything or move around. Because if you have a nice tight rigid frame with nice tight mesh, okay, your stencil is not going to move as much when you flood and stroke. So what's that going to help you with? Your registration on multicolor jobs. Okay, so having a good rigid frame with tight mesh, okay, is going to help you out so much in the long run that it's very important, and that's why we recapped all this today in a quicker video. There are obviously more benefits to using tight mesh and a rigid frame and all that, so remember that mesh tension is important to your overall print result, your ease of printing, the usage of the consumable, the ink, with lower mesh tensions. When your mesh is rolling around like a loose t-shirt, you're using more ink than you need to. So keep all these things in mind. Mesh tension, good proper mesh tension is part of the screen printing equation, and it's very important, and it will help you out in the long run. Alright, so that's it for today. Hope it wasn't too long of a quick tips video. Thanks a lot for watching. I really appreciate your time and attention. If you like what you see, remember, rate thumbs up. Comment below if you don't hate Google+, and please remember to subscribe. That's the most important. If you like what you see, subscribe, subscribe, subscribe. Thanks a lot for watching, and we'll see you next time.